Hi, I'm Moses, and welcome back to another episode of Lowe's How To Anything. So does your home have hardwood flooring? Well, refinishing hardwood flooring is a great way to restore and refresh your space without actually having to replace your floors entirely. And today I'm going to walk you through the steps of how to do just that. Let's get started. Now, the home that we'll be working on today was built in the 1950s. And like most homes built around this time, it still features the original hardwood flooring. Now, before we begin, it's important to know if you have engineered wood or actual solid wood flooring, because there is a difference. Now, this is solid wood flooring. Solid wood flooring, as the name implies, is a solid piece of hardwood throughout the entire plank. However, engineered wood flooring has a very thin layer of actual hardwood surface material. And as you can see, it's bonded over the top of either fiberboard or plywood. Because this is so thin, it's very easy to damage this board trying to resurface it. So if you do have engineered wood flooring, I definitely recommend you hire a professional. But solid hardwood flooring like this, we can do it ourselves. It's time to prep. We'll start by removing the furniture and then cover the walls, vents, and fixtures because it's going to get really dusty in here. Now we'll be sanding all the way up to the edges. And as you can see, we have baseboard on the wall. One option is to remove the baseboard, but we aren't removing them today because we don't want to cause any damage to the boards or wall. Now while I'm here, it's a perfect time to check for loose floorboards and secure them with small nails. And also check for any nail heads that might be sticking up from the floor. It's time to sand. Now today I'll be using a standing orbital floor sander that I rented from my local Lowe's. It works in a circular motion which ensures a really smooth finish. I'll be starting with a 40 grit paper and always make sure that you go with the grain. Let's get to sanding. And again, we want to work along the grain in a straight line from one end of the room to the other. Once we reach the other side of the room, we'll turn around and continue sanding the other way. Quick tip. We want to make sure we slightly overlap the area we just sanded with our new pass. Now, in order to sand the corners, we'll be using a handheld orbital sander with the same 40 grit paper. Let's get to sanding. We're all done with the first round of sanding, but there's dust everywhere, so let's vacuum up. So now that we're all done with the 40 grit and cleaned up, we'll make a second pass with 60 grit for a finer finish. But before I do that, I'll take a look around for any nicks or gouges that will require wood filler. We're almost there. Time for a final pass with 100 grit. Okay, that's it. We're all done with the sanding and we're all done for today. So now we'll vacuum and mop to clean the floor one more time, and then we'll be back tomorrow to start the staining process. All right, it's the next day and we're back in our space and we finally get to stain our floors. But before we do that, I'd like to apply this pre-stain that I picked up from my local Lowe's. Just like there's primer before paint, there's pre-stain before stain. Our pre-stain is finally dry and it's time to apply our stain. But just remember, always read the manufacturer's instructions for proper application. Let's get started. So today we'll be using a color called Simply White because we're going for a natural light wood finish. But Lowe's has so many different color options, so you can choose a color of stain that's perfect for you. And don't be alarmed if the stain looks a little dark. It will lighten up as it dries. I'm just using the brush because I was going around that molding to get my lane started. I'm going to use the roller as much as possible for speed. I only use that brush because I had to get around this door mold. You want to wipe off any excess or any bubbles because it will show up in your finish. You see these bubbles that are showing up right now? Two things I can do to that. I can take a dry cloth and wipe that down, or I can take a brush and smooth it out. Our stain is finally dry, and now it's time for the final step, which is to apply our polyurethane finish. Now, polyurethane will help protect the stain and enhance the overall look of our flooring. And you'll want to use a high quality brush or applicator to make sure that your coat evenly applies. We're done. I love this stain and the floors look gorgeous. Don't forget, you can find everything you need at your nearest Lowe's or Lowes.com. And if in the store, feel free to ask one of our Lowe's Red Vest associates if you need any help. Like and subscribe and leave us a comment on what you'd like to see on the next Lowe's How To Anything.